Hey, what's going on, guys? Hope you're having a fantastic day. Todd Holland here. Got Matt Smith. We're going to talk about some really cool stuff. We get a lot of questions throughout the day from loan officers of, is there a system for generating leads? And we've been in the business helping people do this for the longest time, and we figure it, for everyone's benefit, it's probably better just to kind of talk about what we do, how you can go from, chasing down agents and buying expensive leads off of Zillow and all these unnecessary things to, generating your own system, quality leads, converting them automatically, and turning them ultimately into deals. What's going on, Matt?
Hey guys, how are you? How are you, Todd? What's happening, my man? It is 6 a.m. over here in sunny Australia.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. Matt and I actually operate on totally different days of the week whenever we work together, which is interesting. He's down in around Brisbane, yeah.
That's it, mate. I'm just west of Brisbane. Brisbane's my hometown, so I've moved to a little place called Toowoomba, bought a heap of acreage, and I'm slowly subdividing that and doing a real 10x deal, as they say.
Yeah, we don't have acreage here. We just got a little bit of a hill out here in Lake Elsinore, California, just by Newport. Beautiful thing. So, Matt, my question, so we're basically going to go through the system that we've used in the past, but what do you think, before we start, is the most important component for generating business online for a loan officer? Like, if you had to summarize in a couple sentences, what would it be?
Well, the key to any of this stuff is being consistent. Actually having something in the game. Like if you're not making offers consistently to the people that you're trying to serve, your competition is doing that. They're going to crush you. It's pretty simple in that way.
Yeah, and ultimately, what do we want to do? You can't sort of see my hat; it's backwards. We want to make mortgages great again, right? I figure, Matt's got the greatest hair on the internet. He won this award in a tough but fair contest held by him. We're not going to talk about the terms there. Terms, we can't talk about terms online anyways, mortgage officers, right? So we're not going to talk about the terms of that contest. We're just going to say that he won the contest and move forward with that. Guys, to break the ice, and I think, Matt and I were just talking about, there's a lot of garbage out there, a lot of people who are just taking a quick course and putting some nonsense out. So I think before we dive into a system, I'd like to kind of, validate why I'm qualified to even talk about, why Matt's qualified to talk about this, in the sense that I've been doing mortgages since 2015, which is not a long time. I've owned a real estate brokerage since 2012. I've been in real estate since I was 18 at 2008. And we've done some things. So with the system we're talking about here, that we're going to go through, my firm generated in 2017 $92 million in property sold. Now, I realize we're in San Francisco and Newport Beach, so you guys are probably like, oh, you sold 3 houses. Congratulations. I'm happy for you. Now, I realize it's not that impressive when you're looking at what property values are, but, it is something, and it's all attributable, to the ads that we're running, the leads we're generating, the relationships that we garner through these ads and through the leads we're able to generate. In 2018, we sold our firm to U.S. Capital Group. They told us flat out when we got on the phone, like, we're not interested in your book of business, which I get, because $100 million is not that much. But more than that, we're interested in the systems you've generated. Well, it's not horrible either. I didn't start that year, that's for sure. I don't think anybody did. It helped a lot of people for sure.
Yeah.
When we generated those, I think that, Matt, I think systems are so important, right? For the most part, when someone's buying a company, they're not buying them for, right, they're, the book of business, or the fact that I have a really nice hat on that specific day, or that I have the most liked picture on Instagram, which is essentially an egg. So if you want to see what that's like, that's the egg, right? So I thank you all for your support. It's for the systems. It's what you're able to actually do automatically. And they bought the IP, and it's been, I think, great for them as well. We consult systems for them, and they're a nationwide play that they're trying to expand out. Since that time, Matt and I started working together in kind of very close contact. He's extremely good at building offers, and I'm very good at building back-end systems. So we kind of merged those two skills in a way that we've helped, I think, over 50 people across the country so far get to where they want to be. Some of the more notable results of that are that we generated for a couple in Sacramento, California. Actually, very cool. The husband's a veteran. He's been in the mortgage business since before the crash, and doing it the old way, right? The way that you guys probably watching this video have succeeded, which is, you call the agent, you establish value, you get one loan sent to you, and then from that point, you do an amazing job on that loan. And you just get business going from that point on. You build the rapport, and that's how he's always been. His wife is actually a real estate agent too. So in California, there's really nothing wrong with, double dipping in that sense, but he never did. So he worked for, a major lender. She worked for a local real estate company. And they just, they did pretty well for the duration of their career, about $150,000, $200,000 a year in kind of take home pay, which is, it's not killing it, but it's sustainable, and you can, have the decent life with that. But since they got our system in February of, I want to say February of 2018, so not even a year ago, they were able to generate obviously 1,900 leads, but that doesn't mean anything. That's just a number, right? But more important than the 1,900 leads, they sold 20 million in property. They're a $200,000 market in Sacramento. It's not like, my market's like $1 million plus. It's not like you sold 20 houses, like you sold, over 100 houses. From there, they grow their team to 6 agents under them, 6 loan officers under them. They're able to get obviously a huge foothold in the local real estate agent market because nobody was doing what they're doing. I mean, they were able to, now they're speaking at events and kind of going over their success. And they closed over $450,000 in GCI just from this system alone. They've done a lot on privately without this, but they've, through this system, they've generated $450,000 since we last checked on them in December, and we knew we had a lot of the year-end closings. This is probably higher, but I like to go on the low end of the band than the higher end of the band just because I don't want to seem like an idiot when I'm wrong. I like to seem like an idiot when I'm right. That's the best way to seem like an idiot, is when you're actually right about something. So I do that very, very well. Yeah, no kidding. So, back to it, I just want to dive into, what this system really is. Like, what is a mortgage funnel? What should it be? We're not going to spend too much time talking about what it shouldn't be. Everyone here has probably invested in a system or two that has proven exactly what a mortgage funnel should not do, and it's waste your time. But Matt, if you want to just kind of go over these 4 steps in a very brief context, and then I'll Robert's going to go into the ads themselves. But I mean, it's lead generation, conversion, business development, agent retention. Those are the 4 things that ultimately, when you look at what a funnel is supposed to do, that's really what we're talking about here. So Matt, brother, take it away. I mean, what do people on this call need to know about the front end of a funnel, the Facebook ad, the lead form, the opt-in? Break it down.
So the good thing about the Facebook ad is we can get leads almost on demand. We can structure, we can present what are our goals revenue wise, how many deals do we need to do, and we can start reverse engineering it from there. But here's what I noticed last year. Like, I can set up an ad and I can start generating leads pretty much on that day or within a day. Got the process really dialed in from practicing it, for years and years and years, then implementing it, then testing and trialing. So that's not the issue. What happens after we get the lead in, I've found to be really important. That's how you and I have come together, and we're now working exclusively together, because it is a process. But it does start with a Facebook ad. Now, what I love to do is I like to grab their attention. I like to pretty much ethically scream at them and call them out, so to speak. I like to say, hey, new homeowners in Newport Beach, or attention Newport Beach homeowners, or whoever we're targeting. That's who I want to say, hey, you, listen up, this is for you. That's really important. I see a lot of ads, and it's so simple, yet not a lot of people are doing it. The next thing that really needs to happen, and this is going to be the most important factor for an ad working or not, is the creative, imagery, or a video, slideshow, whatever that is. It needs to be really appealing. It needs to be, in my opinion, showing them the dream result that they want, or the thing that they get. All right, that's what's been proven to work the best for me. So we've got here in the examples, there's a beautiful house, right? Who wouldn't want that? That's visually appealing. It pops off the page, and that's what people see first, right? So they see the image, then they come back up to the headline, and then the ad headline, which is actually down bottom there next to the learn more. They're the most important things to this framework I'm talking about. So what I like to do in terms of structure in the text or the copy of the ad is call them out. Then I love to say, I love to state the pain point in a yes question. Sick of, what have you got there? Something like,
well, right here, it's, stop wasting money on rent, stop paying your landlord's mortgage, things like that. I mean, stop dealing with neighbors you don't like. And it's really just like that, right?
Yeah. It could be something as simple as hate your neighbors. Like that, we probably wouldn't roll that.
We've done a lot of business off of people's hating their neighbors. Let me tell you, I agree 100%.
Well, it's one of those core human, the natural instinct of a human, right? The jealousy factor, those primal desires that we try and get out in just a few words. We want to get them saying yes, with that big pain point. Then I like to move into the irresistible offer. You can make an ad with short copy or long copy. The key to any of it is testing. It really depends on what you're trying to achieve, but you want to do one with short copy, one with long copy. So my forte is short copy, saying it in as few words as possible and getting people to say, hey, yes, that's me. Holy shit, I need what this thing is. I'm speaking directly to them with an irresistible offer, and I've stated their pain, and then I a simple call to action to get their information. And that's how I roll Facebook ads.
That's huge, man. And what we do a lot of the time too is we use Matt and I use the lead form, the lead ads directly built into Facebook. Now there's a lot of problems with that method, right? When you use that and you don't know what you're doing, I mean, what's the number one problem? You get someone, their email address automatically populates. It could be a very old email address. Their phone number populates. It's like there's no commitment. Just press a button. Yeah. What are some ways that we, one thing I can think of is that, use custom form fields. So they have to actually manually type stuff out. That's how you weed out the people who are not going to do that. But I like Facebook. I mean, what are some benefits for the structure we use, right? I mean, Matt can actually take that away. One thing that I know that he had mentioned in the call that maybe he could elaborate on is the trust factor, right? I mean, when you go to an ancillary website, you have this problem of, well, okay, I was on Facebook, I'm cool with Facebook, and now I'm on, something.leadpages.com, and I'm like, okay, I don't want to be a lead, right? That's not what someone wants. What are some benefits of doing it this way with the Facebook lead form, the structure that we do?
Well, the key to any of this stuff in your marketing, your advertising, is relationship, and I define the relationship as what you're able to establish through trust and credibility. Now, everyone's on Facebook. They might not be on Facebook to access, information about how they could get a new loan or a new house or whatever that may be, but they are on that platform. So keeping them on that platform is proven to be very, very beneficial for this stuff. Facebook obviously likes it because they make money by keeping people on Facebook, as you can imagine and appreciate. Right. So that's why the lead form is quite cool. We do something similar with messenger chatbots, as you well know. That's one of your fortes, as we like to say.
Yep.
So it's about trust, credibility, desire, and then value. If you can get those four things transparent in your marketing, you're going to do very well.
Man, well said, guys. And those things, that Matt mentioned, the most important three things: trust, credibility, and value. If you can communicate those three things quickly, because what's the average attention span? Less than the length of this video. I can tell you that right now. If I didn't wear this hat, Matt didn't look that good, we wouldn't even have any viewers right now. So the idea behind that, establish that quickly, right? Establish those things quickly, because when you get them, when you hook them, kind of like Matt was saying, when you hook them in with respectful copy, right? You don't want to, there's so many ways that you can be disrespectful with an offer, and not in the sense of like, I hate my neighbors. That's not disrespectful. That's human nature. But lying to a consumer about what they can do, setting unrealistic expectations in the ad. What you've seen people do is, enter to win. I mean, there's what's called advertising bait. That's like, enter your email address to win a chance at going to Cancun. It's like that, do you want to sell them on a trip to Cancun, or do you want to actually get them to buy a house? So people, I own my place. I would opt in for a trip to Cancun. I'm not a perfect client by any means. So it's like you're shooting yourself in the foot with those ways. But assuming that you get the system properly built, that you have the right ad, that you have the right visual creative, that the lead form is speaking to them directly and getting the right information without, allowing them just to kind of click through nonchalantly with the wrong phone number, wrong email. You're actually getting the right contact information from them. What's the next step? And I think this is really exciting, right? Ultimately, and Matt's going to give a quick introduction to this idea, and I'm going to go deeper into it. But, ultimately, when you get someone on the hook, getting their name, email address, and phone number, that's not a lead, right? It kind of is. I mean, you can make it a lead, but what's more important than that is data. Data is the most valuable asset in the world. So, Matt, I mean, take it away briefly, and I'll go into further detail after you talk about it. But what are some ways that we can turn a name, email address, and a phone number into actionable data for a business owner to go and capture real market share?
Well, what we love to do, and what I've seen to be, it's proven it's the most successful structure that we carry across, not just MLO stuff, but across the board, right, is qualifying quizzes. So we take people through a process. Once we've established that trust and credibility that we talk about, and like I'll throw a quick tip in there now. The fastest way to establish that is to get them through the copy to identify as so a little bit tongue-tied, as homeowners in Newport Beach are accessing this awesome thing, whatever the offer is. So then they're saying, hey, I'm a homeowner in Newport Beach. That's me. I like me. So it pulls down the barrier really quickly, and that's how we establish that trust and credibility. But now what do? Well, we want to take them through a process of seeing, is this person right for our products and service? And we do that through these qualifying quizzes, because the more commitment that we get, the stronger the lead's going to be on the back end. And that's what it's all about.
100%. And what I think too, and this is just kind of what I've found, Matt, tell me if I'm way off base here, is that when you're creating these quizzes, these qualifier systems where you're getting information out of the prospect to kind of help them more effectively, you want to build one out for really each demographic you're targeting. And I think too that as a loan officer, and from what I've done from when I've been doing it, the two that I've had the most success with are first-time home buyers, first-time home buyers, people buying new homes, and veterans. Right, those are the three because of my market. Right, I'm in California. Camp Pendleton is about 30 minutes away. It's the largest military base probably in the world, certainly in California, United States. There's a tremendous veteran presence and population in my market. I think 1 out of every 4 clients I get is somehow affiliated to being a veteran, whether it's themselves, through a parent, through a spouse. And so it's important to have the right questions asked for each demographic. I mean, certainly it doesn't do you any good to ask questions for a self-employed home buyer to someone who's a veteran working in a union job, right? Because you're going to obfuscate it. So the important thing, what's cool about these quizzes that you can build, and I'll run through one of them briefly. What's cool about these quizzes, for example, the veteran one, is that you can draw out a list of responses based on what they choose. Now, for example, if they say that they're an active duty veteran of the United States military, or their parents a veteran, those are two different things that you need to know as far as a workflow. If their parents a veteran, then you have a specific line of documentation you need to request from the consumer. If they're a veteran themselves, all you need is the DD 512 and I'm probably butchering those numbers, the proof of eligibility, and getting them further in that context. What I like is to start from the very beginning, which is, are you looking for a home? Do you currently rent or own? Okay, this is very important, right? Because if you rent, we're just going to go for renting. If you rent, have you ever purchased a home? No. Okay, so what I've done is I've gone through 2 very important criteria. Number 1, a first-time home buyer is qualified for, as you guys know, a certain number of programs. If they just indicated that they're not a first-time home buyer, off the bat, what you're doing is disqualifying them from a series of things they wouldn't be able to work with anyways, right? Yeah. If they're saying they own a home currently, not that they've purchased one, if they actually own a home currently, then you have some questions you have to ask as far as, do you have to sell the home to buy the new one? Are you currently in contract? Is this a second home or investment? The conversation for you, these are things that you would have to tease out individually per person you talk to. It's being done for you. Right, the proper system that you built will do those things for you, because as you go down the system, it's like you're essentially automating the whole sales process. When you're looking to buy a home, Tuesday, that's a joke, but it's, you really want to do like between 30 days and 90 days. Yeah, well, tomorrow. Well, I guess that's where, right? Sorry, where? So Tuesday, California. I misread the question. What's your time frame to move? Okay, look, if their time frame to move is 1 month, they're probably going to be very responsive. That's also going to be an indicator that, okay, if you have to move within 30 days, you're either selling your home currently or being evicted out of an apartment. There's one of those things you can service, one of those you can't service. So it's important to figure out which one of those it is. And so after, I'm not going to select this, let's say I'm selecting 1 month, it'll ask them, okay, are you selling your home currently? Yes or no? Not like, are you being evicted? Because if there's binary options, there's 2 options, right? Either selling their home because they have to move in 30 days because they're in contract, or if they're being evicted. If the answer is no, that's not selling the home, what's the only thing left? Well, something you can't really service. You have to know that as someone who's going into a sales process. That's something that no one's really doing right now. You buy leads from Zillow for like $80 in my market, they're kind of doing that, right? So, you got to say more than 3 months, and which one of these are realistic, I'm not sure. You go forward. What's your estimated credit score? This is huge. You don't want to ask a number, but you want to know if their credit score is terrible, good, or great, or whatever it is. So if they say, it's great, that's a series of programs they qualify for. If they're saying it's below fair, they're not disqualified, but there's certain things that you have to work on. Perhaps you have to send them to your credit repair expert so you can nurture the lead within 6 months from that. Perhaps you have to utilize, FHA loan programs that'll get them down to 580. It's really just the concept, right? And so as you're going down this thing, you figure out what their preferred price point is. If they're below $200,000 in my market, it's probably like a mobile home or a tract home that's on in a park or something. There's an agent on your roster that probably specializes in that price point. And when you're generating these leads, guys, it's not just, and Matt can certainly elaborate on, it's not just getting the data for yourself. That's one thing that's semi-interesting as it goes. But the other thing that's important to consider is that you're generating leads and data and information for a partner of yours who you're trying to sell this system to, that this is a way to do business, that for them to contact this person and for them to reach out. So, Matt, what are some ways that people can screw this up drastically, right?
Well, the very first thing is congruency with from the very first image that they see. If you've got a picture of a property that is not in your market, that's immediately going to put everyone off. And then that then flows into this quiz, this funnel, this questionnaire. If we had a picture on the ad that looked completely different to this one, it hits the subconscious. People, they bounce. Okay. What I love about the quiz, if you think about it, it's kind of like we're trial closing them as we go along through our process. So that's very cool. I love it.
Yeah, it's powerful, right? And for my market, let's say 300 to 400, you go forward into it. Do you have a real estate agent that participates in local home buyer programs? This is very, very obvious why this is an important question to ask. If they have an agent and you hand them off to another agent and they're currently signed with the buyer representation agreement, which is actually enforceable in my state, then you're kind of stepping on toes, which you might want the other agent to work with you at some point, so you don't want to do that. And B, you're giving yourself an opportunity to say, like, okay, well, if the answer is yes, they have an agent already, that is basically a sign for me to not send them out to my current sphere, try to convert them into the mortgage best I can, and then reach out to the current agent if I can get the information from the client when I talk to them, and introduce myself and let them know how the client reached out to me, and then say, well, this is a way that I'm generating a lot of leads, and you just got yourself a new relationship simply by helping their client get to what they want to do, right? Yeah. And when you establish that kind of a thing, you're really not, doing what you used to with the agent, where you'd say like, hey, Mr. Agent, I'd love to meet and take you out to coffee and, kiss the ring and tell you how much I want to do business with you and things like that. You're coming in from a perspective of, look, this is how we generate a lot of in-house organic business. We hand this out to real estate agents who work with us. Do you have any deals that I can work on? I'd love to get you into our system and generating you leads and establishing value. It's something I can tell you right now. In my market, we're fairly innovative. You have to be, and you're paid for your creativity in business. And with this kind of thing going on, with no one's doing this where I am. Some people are doing, and I don't mean to call out any particular people who are building these systems, but there's people who are building the systems that are very mundane and falsely advertised and just a way to generate big numbers of leads for very cheap. If you want 50-cent leads, this isn't the system for you. If you want to talk to 1,000 people a month, manually over the phone, this is not the system for you, right? But because once you generate this data, Todd, and the email to send information. Of course, I should probably spell the information properly when I'm building these funnels. Hey, I'm not an educated man. I just have a bunch of degrees, right? So that saves me there. And then this one, I'm not asking for phone number, I don't think. So, todd@todd.com, which is not my email address. So if you send that, todd.com is actually thermodisc.com. I don't know what you use a thermodisc for, but I would love to be able to buy that domain. And you go, what's the phone number? Verify the phone number, right? So you've done something very powerful in doing this, because when you go through all that process, they're probably not going to give you a fake number. If they do, whatever, you can retarget them. You've got the original lead data from the Facebook ad, so it's not the end of the world. But when you put in this, not put my current number out on the internet, because I know how people are, 5555, and you hit submit, it then takes you to, it puts all that in, and you connect with Facebook. This continue with Facebook button is so powerful. People don't even understand what it does, but it allows you to capture their Facebook ID directly into a CRM, which later on when you retarget, which essentially is running ads to the people who've already opted but didn't, have a conversation with you, you can do that instantly. It doesn't matter what email address they gave you. It doesn't matter anything. You've got them, their central, and it's, again, this is much more trust-centered than, give me all your information, right? Submit now and give me your lead data, everything like that. You don't even have to ask for their email address if you do this, because it'll pull it off of the system automatically. It's very cool. And so when this happens, I know we're running out of time here, so I don't want to belabor this. When this happens, what we do with our back-end system is we send them a series of emails, text messages, ringless voicemails at proven intervals, 1, 3, 5, 7, 14, 21. These intervals that we've tested, I've built over 1,000 of these systems, overseen 1,000 of these systems, both for myself, for the people who I've taught when I was working at the Breakthrough Academy and places like that. And I've tested things, because look, when you do the same thing for 3 years like I did, you get very bored. You get very bored of doing the same structure. So you want to test things out, because A, you look better when something works, and B, it's just like, my God, you cook chicken for a month. You want to add different spices every time. Otherwise, you can't even taste the chicken anymore, right? So what we've done is build this system out where, we have proven copy for the text messages, proven copy for the emails, proven design for the emails, because design your email is a whole different thing. You don't know what works best for the consumer. We kind of do, because we've done this for a long time. Proven copy for the ringless voicemails that goes through at the right times, gets people to respond. We've gotten people to respond to the 70% response rate off of their lead. So 100 people will opt in, 70 people will communicate and say, yeah, let's talk more, send me your survey. We've got the lowest we've got using this method is 25% response rate, which doesn't sound that great, but you got to figure you're not reaching out to these leads yourself. You're not picking up the phone. You're not spending time off of your actual business development, working on your business to do these things. You're not stopping you're not foregoing meetings with an agent that you want to meet with, talk about the system so you can call a lead. The system does that for you, right? And then if you have a proper application online, which a lot of you do, and some of you don't have something that's that beautiful, you can get something about pre-app 1003 for $30 a month, right? And that's a full online application. 1003, they fill the whole thing out. The actual application is drawn out, ready to be put into your CRM that do request docs automatically. You're taking this whole chunk of time that you have to have prospecting, letting a robotic or automated system do it for you. So you do what? At the end of the day, you focus on closing more deals and building more relationships, right? And so I think that's very important to think about. And, using this system, like we've talked about the success my clients have had and the success obviously I've had doing this. But Matt, man, before we head out and kind of drop this out, do you have any closing things that people need to know about this, that, you really just want to, reiterate, get them into their head and say, guys, this is really, look, we're not advertising our services. Not everyone can afford what we do, but just anybody who wants to do this thing kind of has to be able to build a system like this themselves. Closing remarks, brother, let me know.
Well, the future, it's here now. This isn't some hocus pocus BS thing. We've been doing this for years, and everywhere we implement this, we're having wild success for a reason. It's proven, it works. So the question really is, are you going to keep doing what you're doing right now? Having to cold call, having to send out, 50 texts, 50 emails, hitting and hoping, spraying and praying. Or you're going to look at doing something like this. Yeah. And this took a long time to get this dialed in. Let's be realistic. like anything good, it does take time. What I would suggest is that you have to be doing something, whether that's trialing, doing something yourself, or having a conversation with us. You need to start thinking about how you can implement a proper system, a proven system for your business if you really want to achieve your goals. Let's be real.
100%, Matt. I mean, that's well said, and I think that right. I mean, you can certainly do this yourself. I mean, we did, but it's just a matter of what, investing the time to learn and to test and to optimize, and some people have that kind of time, and some people don't. So it's just a matter of deciding the right thing for you, guys. We're going to close it off right there. I think we're going to put this thing in a couple places that you can review it. If you have any questions about, what we've talked about, please drop them in the comments. We're happy to go through and answer these. We're both in the group, both admin the groups. We can go have a conversation either in direct message, or if you want to hop on a call with us, or whatever the case is, we're available to help you kind of grow this system out yourself.
There's that.
Yeah, that's true too. Yeah, no kidding. So I think, you know where to find us. You have an idea of what you need to do now to get ahead of the other people in your market, how to build up those relationships and the long-standing network of agents who are going to send you deals, because you're, at the end of the day, not everyone's a bottom line thinker, but everyone does think with their wallet. And if you're being able to say, hey, I will get you paid on time with no surprises, and I'll bring you business to further get you paid. Coffee is great, but there's a lot of coffee that you can buy with an extra commission check as an agent. So I think that's an important thing to think about. Guys, thank you so much. Matt, I appreciate your time in coming on with this. I think the stuff that is absolutely valuable and just incrementally important to getting this thing built out successfully for the team, and to get to have a successful 2019 at the end of the day. So I'll leave it at that. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, please reach out, and we're happy to help you there. Or visit the link that we're going to put in the comments if you want to get more information about like a newsletter, subscribe to these podcasts for yourself, whatever the case is. I'm happy to get you on any kind of communication you want and move forward with that. Everyone, Matt, thank you so much. Let's rock and have a fantastic 2019. Have a great one.
See you guys.